they get their Gucci purse. I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business. Me and them can't be friends. I find the battle and
WEFM, the clean fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, you done St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 22 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning time as we do our first activated talk show right here on WEFM 99.9. Good morning to all the folks heading into work this morning. Good morning to Roro as well. She do a kind of trick on me, but it's all right.
What trick I done here?
I know you wanted. I wanted
to, but I ain't get through. You're lucky I ain't get through. All right. So good morning to everybody. Yes, we are back with you for another day. Another place feeling a little festive because it's a long weekend that is coming up.
Yep.
Where the persons are going to be enjoying the long weekend on St. Vincent itself or within the Grenadines. You know, of course, we're just going to urge everybody to be safe, whatever it is that you decide to do. And as Maka was saying, yesterday was April Fool's Day. I noticed a few things on social media yesterday that were funny. I noticed a post by another radio station and talking about a mall that's going to be built in
Paul's
Avenue, right? And I think many persons did not realize or did not remember that yesterday was April Fool's Day. So, you know, I saw little things on different companies. Another funny one that I saw was one from the police. They had put out a post with a dog brownie in the station yard saying it was there for the day.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
So right. So you know, so it's little things. I think I wonder sometimes how many persons practice April Fools in that sense. I think many of us sometimes forget as well, but I like to see when the spirit is kept alive in that way and persons don't take things overly serious, you know? So yeah.
It feels to me like it died on a bit, but
yeah. I don't know. I think when I was going to school, we did it more as school children, but I don't remember it as so much as being an adult, you know, in an office setting, maybe you could get away with it. But yeah, but persons took it to social media yesterday. So yeah, it was kind of humorous to see certain things that came out. Yeah. All right.
I don't know how much persons saw the calendar of event for Carnival. You saw it?
No, I haven't.
Well, on Saturday, May 30th, we have in Mrs. VG.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, yeah.
Okay.
But if you could just go through.
Wait, where is it posted? Where you saw it?
I saw it on Ezzy Roberts' Facebook page.
Okay, so it might be on the Vincy Mass page right now.
Exactly.
Okay.
So folks can go through it. But Saturday, May 30th, Mr. SVG show is back, which is good.
So you went to be up front and center? Of course I'm gonna All right, good stuff.
Yeah, man. It's a show that I believe a lot of folks will attend.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're happy to hear that it's finally coming off. So yes, we will see what comes out of that event. All right, so as we get into this morning, what are we talking about?
Where is the article? Oh, right. Eat a food mentality. Many Vinci artists are very lazy. That was said by the CEO of Carnival Development Corporation, recently made what he admits might be an unpopular statement. Do you think it's an unpopular statement?
I'll give my thoughts after.
Many Vincentian artists are very lazy. That's what he said. And in a candid discussion about the state of Vincy Mas and the local music industry, Small suggested that a lack of year-round dedication and poor business acumen and are holding the local talent back from achieving international super stardom. All right, according to Small, instead of maintaining a consistent hustle, many local artists sit back and wait for a major seasonal event like Wet Fete and Soca Monarch competition to begin putting in the work. He urged that if these artists apply the same level of emphasis and effort that they dedicate to Soca Monarch throughout the entire year, the Vincentian pop music industry will see far greater overall success. Of course, the article was taken from St. Vincent Times.
All right. But what are your thoughts, though?
In terms of artists, doing music around the year, I think what is the problem for most artists is finance. So I don't think most artists want to do music all around the year, except one notice most artists do now, they do music for Carnival and they do music for Christmas. But around the year, I think finance is a big problem for most artists.
Yeah, I am in agreement with you. I do understand where Rodney is coming from with regards to that, in that many persons or many artists don't look at themselves as being the business, right? But unless you have a repertoire, unless you have enough music that is possibly going to get you not just local bookings, but regional and international bookings, right? It is going to be a challenge for some of them.
Yep.
We can always look back at persons like Skinny Fabulous and Problem Child. And Skinny is one of them who, from a very young age, and I remember even thinking back on it at that time, and I thought it was such a big risk that he was taking, right? Yes, he has a degree and all of that, but for him to say that he was going to go into it full time, for me, that was like such a big risk that he was taking, because many persons looked at, similar to what Rodney is saying, they look at it as a side hustle. They look at it as something that is seasonal. But Skinny made that decision to say, this is what I am going to pursue, and I'm going to go at it full on. He, as the individual, he is the business, right? But not many persons, and not everybody might be in that financial position. And I'm not saying that Skinny was in the financial position at the time that he made that decision, right? But in the context of looking at the reality, are unable to do the things that they absolutely love, or they're unable to pursue the things that they love because of finances. So many persons have to work a regular 8 to 4 and do the thing that they absolutely love on the side, right?
As a side hustle.
As a side hustle. So it's going to take, number one, it's going to take a lot of faith, right? It's going to take a lot of faith, not just in God, but faith in yourself as well, and faith in the market. The markets being those who are going to book you, for you to decide to make that big leap of faith. And for some artists, especially if they're just getting their names out there, they don't have a lot of music behind them at this time. I can understand where it's going to be a challenge, right?
One of the things I agree with Small with is, he said many of the artists sit back and wait on major seasonal event, which is Wet Fete, other Wet Fete as in the communities, and Soca Monarch. Right. Some of these artists just sing song to get into
for those
these events.
Right. So, which is another thing as well. And yes, I do agree with him, because if you are going to pursue something as a business, you have to be able to find avenues where it's not just in the season, but also out of the season. When we look at persons like Problem Child, on a yearly basis, we're like, how much songs Problem putting out? Because Problem is constantly putting out music, and it's not just music for Vincy Mas. He's putting out music for Trinidad Carnival, like even just dropping songs, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And many persons, many artists, you no longer have to just rely on a radio station to give you the push, or a DJ to give you that type of forward, right? They on their own accord can use social media as a way to try to push their music, to push themselves forward, right? But I know that it's not going to be as easy as we are making it seem. It's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a difficulty for many persons. And what it is that they have to deal with is the realities of their financial obligations while they are trying to pursue their dreams.
Do you think that some of the artists are suffering from airplay in terms of after Carnival?
I do, because I think that only sometimes the big songs continue to be played on air. And even, it's interesting for me to be saying this, but even sometimes after Carnival, I don't find that a lot of Vincy soca music is pushed as much, right? And it's not just a WEFM thing.
Most station does it. Most station,
Right.
they play the big song after Carnival. Some of the song just turn the garbage.
Well, not just throwing the garbage. We just wait until Carnival time comes back around to push them again, you know? And this is what it is. I think many of the local artists are facing where they're not given enough airplay. And to be fair, I know sometimes we say that it's foolish music that comes out, but also a lot of decent music comes out,
Yeah.
right?
But
And
you don't hear the decent music. That's the thing.
and why is that? Why don't we hear the decent music? Why
Because
don't we push them enough?
most of us tend to play the big artists.
By
the
us, you
Skinny
mean
Fabulous.
DJs?
Most of us. the Skinny Fabulous, the Problem Child, the Luther.
And this is why it's going to come back to what Rodney said, because if the local artists, apart from those who have made it, right, if they are going to try to make it, they need the help of persons, especially those radio stations and DJs, to be able to give them that push. And there's also another thing that I look at sometimes where some music is pushed based on the preference of the DJ, right? Preferences of the DJ, right? Now, whether or not money does we passing all the time, I don't know. You could tell me.
I don't know
Money
either.
does pass? All right. Whether or not money passes sometimes, I don't know, right? But how is somebody who wants to pursue that dream
But-
full time, how are they going to get to the levels of Skinny Fabulous and Problem Child and etc. Unless they get that extra push
But
from
will you blame DJs? Or will you blame radio station? Because they're a radio station that filter music, right? So, okay, you might sing a song and then you might not hear it on the radio station at all, and it's a good song.
So whose fault is that? Who do we ultimately I don't want to use blame. Blame sound kind of heavy. But who do we ultimately bring in to play in that? Right? Because if these artists are trying to come up in the music industry, come up in terms of being able to get their music out there and to be able to get regional, international bookings, if they don't get that hand from the radio stations or DJs, then how are they going to make it? Which goes back to what Rodney is saying, where from his vantage point, that they're lazy and that they're not doing enough. But you know what? For many persons to make it big, and I'm talking about in business in general, sometimes you just need a little bit of help, right? You can be doing the work on your own accord. You can be giving it your all. You can be putting all of your energies into it.
Who
But
the
sometimes you
artists
just need
help
that
from?
break.
Who the artists need help from? The radio stations, or they just need help from the general public? Who they need help from?
I think it's all. I think it's a collective. I do think it's a collective. And but like when persons hear a song on the radio, maybe sometimes requested, because maybe to go back to that way in which how music had advanced before was where persons listening to the radio would say, let's hear that song again.
Right.
Bring that song back again.
Right.
That is a decent song. I want to hear this particular request, Maybe take it back and not just leave it totally in the hands of some DJs. So that's my thoughts.
I don't know. You see, there are some radio stations have some song on rotation, right? For example, another radio station. So this is where the problem comes in. There are nice songs that don't get airplay.
And there is another thing that I've also noticed is that, all right, so like right now, you would hear some of these songs being played,
Right.
because
you
we're
will hear the
trying to
Skinny
do
Fabulous,
the
the
build-up.
Luther.
No, not even that. I'm talking about like those who now coming out. You would hear those songs because we're doing the build up to Carnival,
Right.
right? We're doing that build up. But as soon as we're reaching a little bit closer to Carnival, we don't hear those songs anymore. We hear those that are deemed a bit bigger, right? So, yeah.
I don't know what can be done, but
It's a hand-in-hand approach. I'm not going to just blame it all on just one sector, but it's a hand-in-hand approach. But from the vantage point of an artist who is trying to make it, I can understand, because Vim like need the money under the month. right? CWS need the money. If you have children, they need the money to be able to be taken care of. So sometimes them putting that full dedication into what it is that they love to do is not always the easiest balance to make up. So yeah. All right. So with that, we are going to head on out as it's already 7:36 and we need to head directly into this morning's traffic talk.
Nothing else sounds as good as